The Walking Dead recap: All Out War ends with Rick Negan showdown. Spoiler alert, this story contains substantial details from Sunday's Season 8 finale of The Walking Dead. At least Carl didn't die in vain. The young man, whose death earlier this season angered many fans, had a hope for peace that finally persuaded his father, Rick Grimes, Andrew Lincoln, to give up a vengeful urge to kill in Sunday's pivotal Season 8 finale of AMC's The Walking Dead. But it took Rick a while to come to that conclusion, which spared the life of finally vanquished Negan, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, in an eventful episode with no significant deaths. The episode featured the final battle of the two-season all-out war storyline that introduced Negan and his saviors as a huge threat to Rick and his survivors. The war, which dragged on longer than many viewers liked, turned on a surprising, satisfying plot twist that saw Rick's band go from seeming defeat to victory, even if the stratagem didn't stand up to close analysis. More, how The Walking Dead hits the reset button, and plans first crossover. Also, Jeffrey Dean Morgan promises pain is coming for Walking Dead's Negan. As the episode opened, Negan held all the cards, having duped Rick and company with fake battle plans that made them think they had the drop on the saviors. Negan even added a cruel but ingenious touch, sending some of his men to slaughter at the hands of the Alexandria/Hilltop/Kingdom survivors to make the phony plans seem more real. Rick, Mikan, Donnie Guerrera, and Maggie, Lauren Cohen, fell for it, eventually finding themselves surrounded by Negan's forces. They realized their unfortunate situation when they heard eerie saviors whistling, a callback to an earlier trap that resulted in the bludgeoning murders of Abraham and pregnant Maggie's husband, Glenn. As the heavily armed saviors, whose firepower was bolstered by turncoat Eugene's round-the-clock bullet production, closed in, Negan gave the order to shoot, and everything changed. All their guns exploded in their hands, courtesy of defective ammunition designed by Eugene, Josh McDermott, who had secretly switched allegiances again. It was a cool twist, although it makes one wonder, even though time was of the essence, didn't anyone besides Negan, who was given a gun with working bullets, test the new ammunition before going into battle? News and views: Why I'm done with The Walking Dead. The battle turned immediately, but the disarmed enemies quickly surrendered and slaughter was avoided. Morgan, who had joined Rick recently in slaughtering a group of saviors they had pledged to spare, didn't kill one lying at his feet, finally accepting the advice of Jesus, Tom Paine. Back at the Hilltop Colony, Tara fended off a second group of saviors with the better-late-than-never help of the women from Oceanside. As expected, Rick and Negan had a one-on-one showdown, with Negan holding the advantage, his barbed wire bat, Lucille, after Rick ran out of bullets. But a swift kick, a tearful invocation of Carl's philosophy of peace, and a precision dagger swipe to the throat felled Negan. Rick, who might want to consider a surgical career after disabling but not killing his nemesis, finally came through on Carl's wish to protect life. But Hilltop leader Maggie could not accept that, screaming and crying that the savior leader had to die. It's not over till he's dead, even as Mikan held her back. Rick, who had seen a vision of himself walking with a young Carl, told the savior prisoners to go home and offered terms of survival: any person here who would live in peace and fairness, who would find the common ground, this world is yours by right. The remainder of the episode played out in mostly peaceful terms. Maggie let Alden, Callan McAuliffe, a redeemed former savior, remain at the Hilltop, and Daryl, Norman Reedus, banished but spared White, Austin Amelio, who had treated him so poorly at the sanctuary. A serene Carol, Melissa McBride, realizing the value of community, returned to the kingdom. Morgan, Lenny James, had a similar epiphany but decided he had to move on, which he did a few minutes later, crossing over to Fear the Walking Dead in its Season 4 opener. In a makeshift hospital room, Rick told a recovering Negan he would rot in a cell, echoing the comic books. What that means for the character is unknown, but Negan, despite Morgan's appeal and a recent rebound for the character, hasn't worked as a big baddie. It wasn't always clear why the saviors were so afraid of him and why Rick, Carl and other survivors, despite their chances, didn't kill him. Maggie, however, wasn't on board with sparing Negan, telling Jesus that Rick and McConaughey were wrong. In a twist that seemed out of character, she promised what sounded like revenge. Cohen isn't signed for next season, but an AMC executive last week said he expected something positive to announce soon. Rick was wrong to do what he did. McConaughey, too, Maggie said. So, we're gonna bide our time, wait for our moment, and then we're gonna show him. Peacekeeping Jesus gave a hint of a smile as an even more surprising potential conspirator, Daryl, emerged from the shadows. Yeah, we will, he said. So All-Out War, an often frustrating tale, is finally over. If Maggie's intention is an indication, All-In War could be on the horizon. That would be a new direction for the long-running hit, but probably not what Carl wanted for his Survivor family.